Yes, I am ready. Thank you.
Okay, you want to start the YouTube?
It has started.
All right, so we will call the October 13th Planning Commission meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Wynn,
Here, present.
Commissioner Silva, Commissioner Evans,
Here.
Commissioner LaMica,
Present.
Commissioner Dodson, Vice Chair Spoletta,
Present.
and Chair Owens. You do have a quorum to proceed.
All right, so if there are any items that have arisen after the 72-hour posting deadline, this is the point in the meeting where a vote may be taken to add the item to the agenda. Dominique, have we had any items come up?
No, none have come to my attention.
Okay, moving on to public comment. Members of the public wishing to address the Planning Commission on matters within the jurisdiction of the city of Seaside, but that are not on the agenda. So if anyone is here to talk about business items A or B, this is now the time. This is not the time. That moment will be coming up later. But those who would like to speak on something not on this agenda may do so during the public comment period for up to 3 minutes. Public comments for specific agenda items are heard under that item. For the public record, please state your name. Dominique, do we have anyone raising their hand?
Members of the public wishing to make public comment, please use the raise your hand feature or dial *9 if you're calling in from a phone. Chair, at this time, there's no members of the public that have indicated they wish to make public comment.
Okay. We will close public comment unless somebody raises their hand in the next few seconds. And we'll move on to approval of minutes. Approved minutes of September 8th and 22nd, 2021. Has everybody had a chance to review the minutes? Anyone have anything they'd like to change? If not, do we have a motion to approve the minutes as written?
I make a motion to approve the minutes of September 8th and 22nd.
And do we have a second?
A second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Dominique, do we need a roll call?
Yes.
Do we? Okay.
Commissioner Wynn,
Aye.
Commissioner Evans,
Aye.
Commissioner LaMica,
Aye.
and Vice Chair Spoletta.
Aye.
Your motion passes unanimously.
Okay, moving on to business items. I think that's the next item on the agenda. I skipped down. I shouldn't have. My bad. Yes. Business item A, Board of Architectural Review application number BAR 2107. I hope I pronounced this right. Lisa Nelson, property owner, and Joey Sampalo, applicant. There's Rick. We haven't seen you the last couple of weeks. Anyway, are requesting design review approval for the construction of a 207 square foot elevated deck on an existing single family dwelling located at 1249 Luzerne Street in the residential 8 single family residential zoning district. This project is categorically exempt class 3 section 15303E from the California Environmental Quality Act. Rick, are you presenting?
Yes.
Take it away.
Okay. This item was continued from the September 22nd meeting. Primary issue that the commission looked at, the commission voted as a consensus to approve the deck with a revision on reducing the number of piers below the deck, which previously were at 14 in 2 rows, 7 on each row. The applicant has submitted revised elevations, reducing it from the 7 rows or 7 piers to 4 piers. So there's total on 8 as they're in tandem in back of each other. The deck itself will be at the same location as had been previously built. Just as background for public, the owner had gone into escrow on this. The previous owner, based on some comments from the city, had removed the deck unbeknownst to her during the escrow. So the owner now is just reinstalling a deck which had previously existed for many years prior at the same location and same height. The orange area represents where the deck will be in the rear yard. To the right is on the east side is the front of the property. To the west is the rear. And then you have the top is the northern side yard and the bottom is the southern side yard. There's 28 feet approximately from the southern property line to the deck and 18 feet from the northern side. And the deck will be at 12 feet, which is the minimum setback requirement for elevated deck in a rear yard attached to the house. Just here is another elevation, giving you a perspective of the surrounding neighborhood of the single family dwellings that exist. Again, the property is Luzerne is higher. It's terraces as you go up Hilby. So Vallejo to the bottom is down below. However, there are significant vegetation that is on the back of the property, which continues to screen and shield much of the deck from that property below. Here are photos. One instance, one of the other changes in the project, other than how these piers are constructed, will be this is a horizontal railing. As you'll see in the revised plan, it's now vertical. Here's a side view, just so you can see the perspective of the side view from the property to the south. And here we have on the upper left where the original plan submitted, which had the 7 piers with another 7 behind. In this case, the applicant has reduced it from 7 to 4. And you can see on the side perspective of where the railings are, the piers are behind. And then on the upper right corner, you can see a side view. You can see that there is space between the back pier to the dwelling. There was concern as to whether or not those were in front of windows or doors on the back lower half of the split level house. And then here's the viewpoint looking, well, the perspective looking straight, and you can see that the piers will be constructed in line with each other, so they won't be off center, so they will be directly behind each other. So any questions of staff before you hear from the applicant?
Commissioners?
None for me.
None.
Sounds like we're, oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Mike.
No questions.
Sounds like we're ready to hear from the applicant. Rick?
Joey, you now have the floor to make comments on your item.
Well, it's pretty much self-explanatory what we're trying to do here. I really don't have any comments.
Okay.
I do appreciate your guys' time. There is a correction from what Rick just spoke. He has it down, I think, as 12 feet. And if I'm not mistaken, it might be 10 feet, but I do not have that set of plans in front of me. So it may be 10 feet, but it sounds like we're good at 12 feet. So just in case, we might be cutting it back 2 feet.
So Joey, if I'm understanding you correctly, you're talking about the rear setback.
The width of the deck.
Oh, okay.
Can I blow this set of plans up? What they're showing here? No.
Rick, I'm not sure if that's a question for you from Joey.
I'm looking at, I'm going to open it up and looking at the larger set because I was working off of so the width of the deck is at 9 feet. And on your site plan, Joey, it shows 12.
For the depth of the deck going front to back?
Yes, and it shows at 12 feet to the rear property line.
Oh, okay. Then I apologize.
Okay. Commissioners, any questions for the applicant? If not, Dominic, do we take it out to public comment at this point?
Yes, members of the public wishing to make public comment on this item, please use the raise your hand feature or dial *9 if you're calling in from a phone.
Hey, Keith.
Hello, sorry, I had some events take place and I'm late tonight. So I don't know if I should vote on this or not. I wasn't on the previous discussion a couple of weeks ago, and I did catch the end of this. I've seen the materials.
Good to have you.
Okay.
Dominic, no public comment?
There are no members of the public that have indicated they wish to make public comment on this item.
Okay, we'll bring it back to the commission. Commissioners, any comments or thoughts? Danny?
Yeah, but much improvements. I really like the current layout, so I have no problem with it.
Anybody else? Rick, I just had one question, more for my own benefit than really impacting the decision here. But I'm so used to seeing, one set of pillars, whether it's 4 or 6 or whatever. What's the reason for I hate to call it the center set of pillars? Is that just structural integrity or earthquake code? What's the reason?
The applicant explained to me, he's the contractor, that they're doing this for structural integrity. And he explained on the width of the deck and the girders that would be used, that on the span, that this was just going to be a little bit over, but it would be a safer design for the applicant, as opposed to cantilevering or reinforcing anything within the interior as it attaches to the house.
Great. Yeah, thank you. It was just a question for myself. Commissioners, are there any other comments or questions?
No, I like the, that the applicant took the examples we had from previous and integrated it in today's plans.
Very good. Do we
And I would
have,
agree with that too. It's tremendous improvement over what we saw previously. And I have no other comments.
Great. So if we have no other comments, does anybody like to make a motion?
Let's see. I make a motion that we approve the design review permit BAR 2107 to allow for above ground deck on the rear split level family dwelling.
Very good. Do we have a second?
I second that.
And let's just go straight to roll call. What the heck? Dominique, can you give us a roll call?
Yes, Commissioner Wynn,
Aye.
Commissioner Evans,
Aye.
Commissioner Lamica,
Aye.
Commissioner Dodson,
Aye.
and Vice Chair Spalletta. Did you nod yes?
You're muted.
He shook his head. We have to allow for his voice problems.
Acknowledging Vice Chair Spalletta's vote as yes with the head
Yes.
nod. Your motion passes unanimously.
Wonderful. Okay, moving on to item 2, Board of Architectural Review, application number BAR 2107, Satish and Reshma Sharma. Applicant and property owner are requesting design review approval for the construction of a 2-story addition onto an existing 1-story single-family dwelling located at 485 Trinity Avenue. Beth, do you have this? Who has this one?
I have this one.
Oh, take it away, Rick.
Okay. Okay, so as background, the existing house is a 1-story, 845 square foot single family dwelling. The project will be a 2-story, 962 square foot 2-story addition. The addition to the first floor is slight. It's 3.5 feet on the width of the house toward the rear. So that's 94 square feet on the first floor sorry, that's a typo. It's 868 square feet would be the new second floor. As we get to the floor plan, There's also an expanded garage on the deck to provide a 2-space tandem garage. So that does eat away at some of the first floor square footage, and there'll be a reconfiguration of the first floor below. The completed project would be 1,713 square feet. On the reconfiguration of the dwelling, you have 1 bedroom, a kitchen, and bathroom, and expanded garage on the first floor. And there will be 2 bedrooms, one including a master bath and a master bedroom. There'll be a lounge, living room on the second floor as well. There will be elevated ground level. There will be 2 elevated decks. On the rear of the property, there's a ground level deck on the first floor, which there will be an elevated deck off of the master bedroom above, which will cover that deck below. And then there'll be a roof overhang, which will cover that second story deck. And you'll see these on the elevations. And then on the front of the property, there will be a front elevated deck that would project on the left side of the dwelling for a total of 868 square feet. The project would have a 0.4 FAR. Lot coverage would be 0.51%. The maximum FAR is 0.45. The maximum lot coverage is 0.65, 65%. The height of the dwelling will be 22 feet 4 inches. The maximum height is 24. And there will be a 2-car tandem garage. The project is complying with the garage requirements, as when you expand a dwelling over 1,200 square feet, you are required to have 1 covered space and 1 uncovered outside the front setback. But in this case, given where the dwelling, the limitations on the side of the property, they have elected to expand the garage backwards so that creates a 2-car tandem to satisfy the 2 parking requirements. The location map, the property is at 485 Trinity. This is between Hamilton Avenue, which is to the north, and you have Alston Street, which is on the bottom to the south. The property is primarily single-family dwellings in the surrounding neighborhood. There are a few multifamily dwellings that exist in this area of the city, and particularly the property directly to the south is a 5-unit apartment building with the residential units above and the garages below. So here we have a site plan. This shows you what the existing footprint of the dwelling is. They're showing the expanded garage here. There is a floor plan which will show you how the current property exists. But here will be, this is the small area of 3.5 feet by the width of 24 feet across that will be added onto the first floor below. And then this is the area of the decks, the first floor and the second floor deck that would be above. The property will hold the minimum 5-foot setback on the side as currently required. The property also will be in compliance with the rear setback. The rear setback in this case would be 26 feet, 15 feet is the minimum. And on the front, we have 22 feet currently on the driveway. The property is set back at 27 feet. We'll note on the floor plan, we looked at the second floor on the revised plans or the updated plans, they are setting back the second story 1.5 feet on the sides as per the design flexibility requirement, the single family design requirements, which are trying to create a modulation and setback of the dwelling to avoid massing on the sides. So here we have the front elevation. This shows where the deck will be here on the front. You have the setbacks of 1.5 feet, which would be a 6.5 foot setback from the side for the second story on both sides. There is a there would be a roll-up panel garage door that would be proposed. The house would be stucco with vinyl windows. This would be the rear elevation. We can see the deck that's below, that's off of the kitchen and dining room area. And then off the master bedroom above would be the second story deck. On the side elevation, this is the north side. We can see the roof projection that would be on the side for that 1.5 foot setback from the second story above. We do have some windows here that are on the side of the second story. This is a living room area. This would be the stairway, and this would be the master bedroom. Here's the front deck that's above. And below on the southern elevation, we can see the deck here from that side. Again, the setback of the dwelling from the garage, and then the side setback here with the roof break and the decks. This is the existing floor plan on the far left, and it is a unusually deep garage. It's 25 feet, but it would be expanded to 36 feet to provide the tandem space. The change below, again, you have your kitchen area existing here. It would be moved to the back of the property with the stairway being constructed here in the middle. And then reconfiguration of bedroom and bathroom. Above, you have the master bedroom on the rear elevation of the property. There would be the master bath constructed between that area and the lounge, and a third bedroom above. Here are site photos. Here's a photo taken from the front elevation with the staking and flagging installed. That's on the far left. Here on the upper right, this is a southern view looking at the staking and flagging. You can see the second or the apartment unit that is just to the south of the adjacent to the property. And then here's a view from the north looking upwards a little bit, because you can see Trinity does slope downward as you travel toward the north. City staff has provided in the resolution the consistency and evidence required in terms of the compliance with the design, single family design requirements. I think a couple of the key points that I do want to acknowledge is that the physical size and mass of the project should be proportional to the lot size. This is one of the design criteria. In this case, the property would have a 40% floor ratio below the 45%. So it's keeping itself in terms of the perspective of the overall lot size and proportion to the lot. There would be the box-like appearance of the building is being eliminated by having the setback on the side setbacks from the second floor to the first floor below with the with the roof overhang. You also have the addition set back 5 to 7 feet from the front of the garage. So you have a break in terms of looking at the garage back to where the dwelling begins. That also breaks up with the usage of the decks. The decks also give a depth and breakup of the box, any box-like appearance. And that also happens on the rear elevation, where now if you're at the rear of the property looking at the dwelling, you have depth and shadowing that's being provided with the usage of the upper decks. And the upper decks also give a utilization of open space and use for the property, which enhances its usability and kind of just enhances its use of how it fits into the neighborhood. We did talk about the boundaries that are between the first and second floor, which is being created with the usage of the decks, the fascia that's below the first story deck, and the roof projection that's between the north and side yards. So that would cover what staff has found as far as the consistency of the project with the zoning ordinance and the design guidelines. Is there any questions of the commission before the applicant, you hear from the applicant?
I have one, Rick. The current resident is a one bathroom, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
How are they able to get the water credits to put another bathroom, full bathroom upstairs?
The water district allows a second bathroom protocol. So if you have a one bathroom dwelling, you are allowed by right to be able to add a second bathroom. There's no debit to the city on that. If you were to add in the future any additional toilets, the protocol prohibits you from doing that. So they would be limited at this point to only having the bathroom with the 2 toilets, and any other usage would have to be through like a laundry sink or a dishwasher, washing machine, any other type of water use. That would require additional allocation, which the city is not providing. We're only providing water at this point to ADUs.
Okay, did we have any comments from neighbors after this had been flagged?
City staff has not received any emails or phone calls regarding the project since the distribution of the staff report or prior to the notice that was sent out 10 days prior.
Any other questions for staff? If not, is the applicant prepared to talk?
Reshma Sharma, you now have the floor to make comments on your item.
This is Reshma and my husband Satish is here. Can you hear us?
Yes, we can.
Okay. I don't think we have any comments. We just wanted to know the procedure, how long it takes for approval and all that. But we're okay right now.
Okay, thank you. Commissioners, any questions for the applicant?
Nope.
If not, we'll bring it back to the commission and open it up for public comment. Dominique, do we have anyone wishing to speak on this item?
Members of the public on Zoom, please use the raise your hand feature or dial *9 if you're calling in from a phone to make public comment on this item. No members of the public have indicated they wish to make comment on this item.
Okay, we'll bring it back to the commission. Commissioners, your thoughts? Mike, you're still muted.
No questions. It looks good.
Harley or Keith or Danny?
No, I don't have any issues.
I have no issue.
Neither do I.
I only had one question, and that is, and Rick, maybe you can address this. On the last page of our packet, it showed the roof color, and then I couldn't read it, and it showed the exterior color stucco, a pretty bright royal blue or whatever that color is. I don't know what to call it. That's a pretty bold color. I just didn't know if there was a reason for that, or if it could be toned down a little bit. The next door is also blue, not as bright as this, and then the apartment is, more earth tone muted.
You can open that back up to the applicant. We don't have any color requirements for the city of Seaside. You could seek to see if they could go with a darker blue than what was in the packet. And you can see if the applicant would be amenable to that. And that can be, so we could open it to the applicant for that
I wasn't
question.
objecting to the color. I was just pointing out that it's going to be a pretty dynamic blue in that spot. That's all.
Okay.
And I don't think anybody else had a problem with that, so not a worry for me. Okay, if we have no other comments or questions, do we have a motion?
I'll motion to approve application number BAR-21-07 for the construction of a 2-story addition onto existing 1-story single-family dwelling located at 485 Trinity Avenue.
We
I'll
have a
second that.
Okay, let's go straight to the roll call. Dominique?
Commissioner Wynn,
Aye.
Commissioner Evans,
Aye.
Commissioner Lamica,
Aye.
Commissioner Dodson,
Aye.
and Vice Chair Spalletta.
Aye.
Your motion passes unanimously.
Okay, moving on to item 8 for the agenda, reports from commissioners. Anybody with a question or?
I do have a question. I noticed that on the corner of Fremont and Sonoma, the old fried chicken place is being remodeled. Do we know what's going to go in there?
It's not known at this time because I have not applied for a interior TI. Most of the changes have been getting rid of old rotting material. So it hasn't been shared with us or communicated by the applicant, but we have talked to him prior to his purchasing the property about options.
Okay, so he's just getting rid of stuff currently.
Right.
Okay. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Nope.
I did have a question. I don't know, Beth, whether you or Rick's best to answer. They're staging huge pipes up off of General Jim Moore on, I think it's Eucalyptus, that old road there. Does anybody know what those pipes are going to be for?
This might have been discussed at a council meeting. I think it's related to infrastructure improvements with water supply, but I can follow up by email. I thought they discussed it at the last council meeting.
I've had a couple of questions. I live up this way, so everybody sees it, and I didn't know, so I figured if you guys could just shoot us an email and let us know what it is, then we can let some of the neighbors know what's going on. I don't remember
Yeah, I'll
that
do
on
that.
the council meeting, so I apologize.
I'll follow up.
Thank you so much. If there's nothing else from the commissioners,
I have
oh,
one item.
sorry, Keith.
Yeah, and it's just related to our meetings. There was a while back, we had discussed of sometime this fall of going back to live meetings, and I was wondering, as I recall, it was dependent on what the city council was deciding to do, and I was just wondering on the status of that, if we're still planning to do that soon, or is that just on hold?
Well, I know the council has extended, I should say, I believe the council has extended the dual in-person and Zoom approach. I don't know that there's anything on the horizon where it would strictly be in person. Beth, do you or Rick have any, or Dominique, do you know of anything different?
Yeah, Dominique's the best to answer that.
Yes, so the commissions do have the liberty to continue with their virtual meetings. What we were waiting on was the extension of the executive order from the state level. And that was recently extended to allow the provision in the Brown Act where we don't have to post the location of board members when they are participating virtually. And that's got extended until 2024. So that allows us to continue the meetings in this manner until that time. But our commissions do have the option to continue virtually, to do in-person 100%, or to pursue a hybrid setting. And so whatever way that the commission desires, they have the ability to do that. And our city council is currently operating in a hybrid format. It'll have to be customized for each commission, so we'll need time to set up the logistics. But if that's the direction that a commission would like to go, then we would likely bring it up at a meeting and set a goal as far as a date as to when we would pursue anything other than virtual only.
Okay, well, I can only speak for myself. I don't know how the other members of the council or commission feel, but for me, it's very difficult in a relatively small house with 4 people to concentrate as well as I would like to during the meetings. And I would definitely like to see at some point us come back to meeting in person. But that, again, that's just my opinion. But I'll put it out there.
Good. Dominique, is that something that we should agendize? Or is that something that we can discuss, as part of this reports from commissioners? Others, I don't want to overstep Brown Act.
Right. The commission can discuss, but no decisions can be made in that manner since it was not agendized. However, if we can look into that and either make a presentation or bring that or agendize that for the next or future meeting.
Okay. So I guess Keith, it's kind of in your lap. Would you like to see us discuss that now as part of the reports, or would you prefer to agendize it, say, in a forthcoming meeting?
I would prefer to agendize it just because we have a couple of members that aren't here tonight, and I feel everybody should have let's say, in it. Plus, not everybody was probably ready to talk about it because I just brought it up now.
glad you
But
brought
I
it up.
definitely would like to see it on a future agenda.
Good. So Dominique, if you could check that in with John maybe and figure out when would be a good meeting to agendize that, but sooner rather than later.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. Thanks, Keith.
Thank you.
Danny or Mike or Arlie? All right.
I have a question.
Yeah, Danny.
Okay, just said that, okay, 3 or 2 wanted to show up in person. And then the rest wants virtual Zoom. So how would that work? So 2 people will be going to city and the other 5 will be, on virtual or something like that. Would that work for Keith, or how would the city, is there like have to be a certain number of, commission to show up, at the city,
That's a great question. Yeah.
right? What having 1 person show up and the 6 doesn't want to be, or 2, and like I'm saying, kind of defeats the purpose. Like there's 2 guys showing up there and 5 on Zoom. I was like, oh my God, I don't know how that works. So
Well, I assume that that's something that Dominic and John can prepare for the agenda. Whoop. Beth, were you trying to speak? We were getting a lot of static there.
No, sorry.
Okay. So Dominic, is that a good summary that that's something you and John can address? See, how many would have to be at the city versus how many would have to be online or something like that?
Absolutely. We'll try to come up with a variety of scenarios. And if you have any ones that you want directly considered, just send me an email and I'll include that as well to consider. And we'll figure out some options and accommodations that we can make depending on which direction the commission decides to go.
Okay. Well, personally, I'd love to see Keith sitting up there at the dais all by himself, It would put to shame the whole idea that no man is an island,
that's what I'm saying.
But anyway, sorry about that, guys. Hey, it's early, man. What do you want? Hey, so I guess we're up to reports from staff, or did we already talk about that? I got lost. Beth or Rick or Dominique, anything for staff?
None.
Okay. So do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'm making motion to adjourn.
Do we have a second?
Aye.
All right. We're out of here.
Aye.
Good night.